When using rental arbitrage, it is always advisable when renting a property from the property agent or the property owner, always make sure that you have a tenancy agreement. That tenancy agreement must cover all the terms of your stay on that property. You must make sure that the agreed start dates are reflected on the agreement. Make sure that the dates, if you're asking for extra time, assuming you rented the property on the 12th of May, but there are still some works to be done on the property and you need time, the landlord needs time to finish the work, make sure that the agreed date for the tenancy to start is reflected on the tenancy agreement. Never start a tenancy without a tenancy agreement. When you have the tenancy agreement, in the tenancy agreement, you must have the start date and the end dates properly put in the tenancy agreement. As much as possible, when negotiating the rental period, always ask for extra time, because you need to talk to them as to, okay, you need time to set up, or you need to work on the property, maybe one or two things that need to be done on the property. Whatever agreed time that you agree on, you now put it in the tenancy agreement. Make sure that is written there. Then other terms with regards to the services that need to be provided, with regards to the clauses, check your clauses properly. Make sure that it is written on the tenancy agreement that you are allowed to sublet the property and to use it as a short-term rental. Make sure that clause is there, because if you're dealing with a property agent and anything happens and the landlord comes and finds out that you're using the property for a short-term rental and problems come up, he'll say, no, I do not agree. You can now refer to the tenancy agreement that this is it, this is what was agreed on. So always make sure that clause is embedded in the tenancy agreement, so that in the event anything happens, you are covered. Another thing you must also put is always try and agree on minimum of 2 years for your tenancy period. Even if you're paying for 1 year, always make sure that the tenancy period or the lease period that you're going to take is minimum of 2 or 3 years. That's minimum. Why do I say that? Because when you're starting a short-term rental, it is capital intensive. Now, sometimes you find out that even within the first year, you might not be able to recoup all the money that you have invested in the business. So you asked for this lease so that they won't come up and after 1 year and tell you that you should leave the property. Meanwhile, you have already invested such an amount of money inside. So when you ask for 2 to 3 years lease period, it allows you enough time to arrange yourself and over time recoup your money and begin to make profit on it. Because one of the funny things that begin to happen is that you find out many property owners or many property agents, when they see that you've used their property for the Airbnb business or the Shortlet business, they see that it is profitable, they think that they can do it. So they will want to get rid of you to also set up the same thing. So you find out that if you don't properly cover yourself legally, you will have issues. So one of the reasons why I insist on you having minimum of 2 to 3 years on a lease agreement is so that, let us even say you need to move out of the property, you need that time frame to be able to recoup your investment and be able to make money and make profit on it. Because when your customers begin to come to that location, is that location they know. They don't know any other place if that is where you're starting. So they already know that location. If they keep coming to that place, after a year they find out that you have left, it's a bit confusing to them. It doesn't give them that stability, and that trust will somehow be lost. But when they are known in a particular location over a period of time, that trust is established, so that even if you move after that 2 or 3 year period, now they know that, okay, you've already established a large clientele and you're giving them enough notice to tell them that, okay, you're going to move to a particular location. So that is why it's advisable to always ask for more than 2 years on your tenancy lease. Even if you are going to pay for 1 year, you always insist for that period. Also insist on what needs to be paid, who pays what. Okay, you find out that circumstance, one of the areas that we usually have in tenancy agreement is who pays for tenement rate, who pays for what rates that come up. And if eventually they find out that you are running an Airbnb or you are running a shortlet or a serviced apartment, AMAC begins to bring some certain bills. Like in Abuja, we begin to have some bills like the radio and the TV bills. If you're running like a small restaurant, they'll ask you for health and safety. If there are some things, they'll begin to bring some certain bills for you. Even if you're using DSTV, they'll begin to say you can't use this. There are so many things that you need to be aware of. So in your tenancy agreement, you must state all these things. All these things must be very, very clear. Even if they are going to terminate your stay, you must agree on the period that you need notice for your stay to be terminated. And also always include that even if they need to increase your rent, you must agree on the tenancy, or you must agree on the amount or the percentage of increase that will be done on your rent. All those things must be stated in the tenancy agreement. This covers you so that you don't have any funny eventualities that might come up when running your short-term rental. Protect yourself. Make sure you have a tenancy agreement. Make sure it is signed before you take the keys to the apartment or before you even go into the apartment and begin to set up.